website, ouramericanrevival.com. It's unlike other prospective candidates out there in that they have political action committees, PACs, with the intention of promoting themselves. We're all about ideas. I think President Reagan said it well in his first inaugural address. We should all remember the federal government did not create the states created the federal government. And by that I mean that I think the answers to the problems that ail this country are not going to come out of Washington. They're certainly not going to come out of leaders in Washington. They're going to come from the states and ultimately from the people. And so our American Revival will be focused on pushing ideas. And we'll be talking about them in places like Iowa and New Hampshire and South Carolina and elsewhere around the country, but ideas that we think build that foundation for transferring power away from the states, or excuse me, away from the federal government and to the states, and more importantly to the American people.
Further on that, why take that step and why now?
For us, I mean, I think as we're getting more serious about it, I look at this whole process very similar to what I did many years ago before I ran for governor. Tonette, my wife, and I sat down and talked about the potential getting in the race, thought about it, ultimately prayed about it. And the reason we made that decision, even though it was very difficult to do, knowing it would be a tough race and never knowing it would be as tough afterwards, but knowing it would be tough just to run, we did so because we were worried. We were worried that our sons back then were going to grow up in a state that wasn't as great as the state that we grew up in. Today, more than 4 years later, I'm proud of the fact that our reforms have put this state in a better position so that my sons and their generation are growing up in a state, I think in many ways, it's even better than the one I grew up in. I look at America right now, particularly out in Washington, our federal government, and I have some of the same worries. And so part of setting a committee up like this is to talk about the ideas that I think that will help transform America, to put the power back in the hands of the American people. And what we're trying to do is figure out if that's a message that resonates with others.